Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing my first player comparison. Usually they will be two sort of player comparisons side by side, but I thought first one, why not we started off with a bang with the trifecta of the rucks. The three sort of known ruckmen that are going to be in the majority of the sides. If I just quickly look at the thing here just to bring you up the team selected by. Inglis is actually the third selected ruck over Xerri at the moment in terms of premiums, but you have the likes of Xerri, Grundy and Gawn, which will be highlighted in this video, as I don't think English will be the main ruck, and I'll probably have a side-by-side with him and Marshall as one of the player comparisons as we go in later to, as we still have another, 4 weeks or so, 31 days until the proper lockout for the round one. And also you will have seen, of course, with the timing of this video, that is a later video. I just wanted to test out sort of how you guys react to a later video rather than the usual 12 to 3 or 11 to 3 uploads that I usually have. So yeah, we're going to try a 6 or 7 p.m. upload for this video, and then we'll see how that works out and see if that's sort of something that you guys want, especially on the work sort of weekdays rather than the weekends, where I know that it'll be a little bit better on the metrics show it's a little bit better for the mid afternoon upload time. But anyway, before we get into this video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into this video. So as you can see here, if we look at the actual projections, you got Gawn at 93, Brody, Grundy at 83, and also Xerri, if we go here, is projected at 59. You can take that with sort of a grain of salt, especially the sort of Grundy, I sort of understand it a little bit. Gawn, I sort of understand. Well, these all three, I should say, are having a major role change. You saw Gawn, if we actually look at the DFS, that is not Gawn, Gawn's over here. If we look at the DFS here and we look at the, does it show ruck contests year on year, you can even just see it here. CBAs are down, well, they're the same as last year, but you will also see that he did have an injury game as well in that, and I don't know if I can find here quickly. You can see ruck contests are even down a little bit, and we should actually see ruck contests return to somewhere around this 80% range, whereas the last 3 seasons he's been 63, 58, 57. So that is what around about a 33% increase in ruck contests, which should be good. So if we say 80 divided by 57, that is a 40% increase in ruck contests, if my math are right, if he gets back to just say an 80% ruck contest level, which is something I expect with Gawn, Grundy and Xerri, not so much, because I think there will be Coleman Jones as well as Finbar Malley and I think there is another North Melbourne ruck that is escaping me at the moment. If we go to clubs and go to North Melbourne, so there is Finbar Malley, Taylor Goad I don't think will play, and Hamish Free I don't think will play. Let me just check the forwards quickly to see if there's anyone here. I don't see anyone here. Will Dawson I don't think will do anything. No, I don't see anyone here really at all that I see, other than Coleman. Oh, there is Coleman Jones as well as Charlie Comben that could do some ruck work in my opinion, but I think it will be majority of Xerri doing the workload. So at the moment we have Gawn at 32%, Brody, Grundy at 51%, and Xerri at 13%. And those ownerships have obviously, if I found the website that I was on recently about that, they definitely switched, and that was just, and the point of inflection for Gawn was the moment that Xerri went down, and that was a point of almost, I think it's deflection or whatever for Xerri, in that his ownership was topped at that point, the day that he got injured. And then even though he should be back by round one, that graph dipped down. If I can just try and find it here, it may take me a little while here, but I know that it was used by I know Mitch is one that Mitch and the Ball Boys are one that is on the case for it. So let me just try and find it for you guys on there. Let me just try and find it. It may take a little while, so let's just see. And do we have anything here with it? It may be here. Let's just see if it is. Nope, doesn't look like it's there either. I'm trying so hard to find this quickly because I know he does mention it with them with the sort of spike in ownership, etc. That does happen, but I cannot find the where it is that they mention it. I cannot see it picking up the sort of graphs that I would expect to see. So anyway, looks like we'll be moving on from that and heading back to just these player comparisons a little bit. So yes, like we were talking with Max Gawn, the fact of the matter is that you'd have Gawn and Grundy both on the early buy, but they do have round 0 where they'll be gaining cash. So that is a thought there. And basically the thought behind it is that now that we have both Conway and Sweet that are prepping as R1 look-ins for round 1 for their respective sides as the ruck, as the number 1 ruck, it looks almost like a better strategy now to go with Gawn and Grundy, and as Gawn could easily with the better ruck rules that we're seeing now, he should be able to get 2 or 3 hitouts per game better, maybe only about half or to 1 free kick a game less, probably only like half a free kick a game less. So that's already 2 or 4 points there, as well as just the ruck contest percentage we said was going to go up, 40% increase there. So if you just went on his hitouts alone, we could see his hitouts honestly return to probably a 33, 34. So maybe even a 35, 36 with the new rules. So that's already plus 10, plus 11. You'd probably see him get another mark or so a game. I could see him honestly returning directly back to these 2022, even 2021 numbers here, just looking at it straight up with a little bit more hitouts. So I think he could go 105, 110, and that basically means that he doesn't need to be traded. And like we have with that Xerri, with Tristan Xerri at the moment, is that he's in that awkward price bracket of you'd have to move, say, one of the premiums from your midfield if he does get injured down to to get to Gawn, basically, as you can't get to English and Marshall at that price point that they are if it's early on in the season. So I think Gawn is just a nice little one there, and you could save a lot of you could save basically a trade by doing him, and you just have Sweet cover him for a 70 or so, that I suspect if Sweet is number 1 ruck, or if Conway is, then maybe a 60 or a 55, where you're burning 50 points, but over the course of 23 games, or effectively it will be 22 games for these guys. You need 2.5 points, maybe 3 points of further upside, and I think you do get that in Gawn. Or maybe you only get 2 points, but you save a trade, and that accounts for, say, 20, 30, 40 points, that extra saved trade, because in the end, it could be that it saves you from having to force trade out a couple guys. Well, you'll be a lot better set up in case of a forced trade out and stuff like that. So I just think that Gawn at the moment is primed to go back to that 105, 110. And Xerri, I think, could have that massive step. If we actually look back and directly at Gawn, you'll see that he went from 58 in 2014 to 91. We could see some type of step like that for Tristan Xerri. We've seen him play 12, 24, 33 games, whereas at the time Gawn was at a 22 games, so a little bit more experience for Xerri. And regular season 66 adjusted without injury. There's already 5 points of upside, I believe, there if you take the adjusted. So that is that looks all right there in itself. But I think with the number 1 ruck role, he could easily go up another 10, 15 points. So you're looking at 20, 25%, 20 to 25 points of potential upside there if he goes 85 to 90, which is something that we're looking at. The problem with that is 85 to 90, if he even maxed that out, that is, if he maxed out 90 with the current magic number, that's 812. I don't expect that to happen. Plus, I also expect the magic number to decrease. So that 90 probably turns into a around that 760, 750 by the time you trade him out. Then you need 250, 300k on top of that just to get to potentially a Gawn or a Marshall or an English. Yeah, I don't think he is the GOAT at the moment, just because there's that injury concern and there's also that trade out concern. And so that's why I'd be going Gawn, especially with the value in, yes, you do have Sweet in there as well, who you could actually still use as that that way to get Xerri up to a English, but I just don't see it, to be honest with you, as much as the jump that potentially Wardlaw or someone else in that mid-prices range could do. I just think that Xerri is, it's one that is very, very touch and go, to be honest with you. But there's that. And then you've got Grundy as well, another guy that I think can take it to the next level. We've seen his ruck contest go down to 48%. If he just goes back up to the, let's just say the 80% range here, you can see here, it is going to be a massive improvement as well. If we just do, say, 80 divided by 48 times by, obviously, that is going to be well inflated. But if he was to go back to an 80% ruck contest level, obviously, I don't think he'd have the 0.6 goals as well. And I think he wouldn't, obviously, increase his marks and tackles too much. But I think you would see a 1.66 times the 20 hitouts, which is a plus 13 on the hitouts alone. I also think you would see the kicks and the handballs go up another level as well, back towards this sort of 10 and 10, or even a 9 and 9, which would be another 10 points of upside there. So you start to get that 25, 30, 35 points of upside there that you can immediately see out of him. I could even see his tackling going up, just being in the center a little bit, but not terribly much. We're not talking like up to 4 or 5. We're just talking up to 4, because that's another 4 points there, another 3 points from an extra marker game. And you see, if he can get the kicks and handballs ratio back in his favor there's another little bit. So even just everything incrementally by 1 or 2 across the board for Grundy, it really starts to add up if you look at that with kicks, handballs, marks, and tackles. If we take into account the expected sort of 12 to 13 hit out point advantage that he should get, add into the effect that it looks like they'll be obviously will be playing more at the SCG. He seems to play well at the SCG. The SCG seems to have more hit outs hit out opportunities due to the smaller ground. So it should help him there as well. And that's why I just think Brodie Grundy in AFL Fantasy, we've been talking about this whole time, is definitely a go for anyone that needs a ruck, obviously. The Grundy and Gawn are the two to go for, in my opinion. I don't mind the Xerri pick, but I just think there is trouble to upgrade him a lot more, especially with having the no round 0. We will have probably a price increase from Grundy itself, after, well, it'll obviously be after round 1 itself. But you will see he will most likely have the double, which will be probably, I suspect he'll go 95 and then 110, 115. That will probably have him about 40k more expensive at the end of round 1, 40 to 50k. And that's already at 720, whereas Xerri probably maxes out. He's playing GWS, so it's a tough matchup. He might only be 600k, and you've already got 100. You've already starting to develop a 20k gap, plus a break-even gap, plus the initial starting gap, as well as a points gap from Brodie Grundy, and you sort of have to make that up elsewhere. And I don't really think that 120 can really be spent as well in other lines when you're factoring in Xerri as much. But that pretty much comes to the end of the Gawn, Grundy, Xerri sort of debate. And the reasoning behind, I think, this one that will go down, and it could easily flip back and forth again, depending on round 0. I think it's more heated now in going the double round 0 players in Gawn and Grundy, because of that, as I said earlier in the video, the Sweet Conway combo that I obviously don't support Geelong or Port Adelaide, but it looks ever more through coaches' comments as well as sort of match sim and preseason training that those guys are training better and should get a role early from all due reports. But anyway, that pretty much is the video there. A sort of shorter one as these player sort of not recaps, previews, sort of side-by-sides will go. I'll have to actually probably look at a title to title this, but it is the first one in this series, and hopefully we get some more. I think the next one may be probably an LDU and Walsh split, or an LDU and Steele one, as they're very, very close in price. And then you may have the likes of maybe Rochelle and McDonald one, as that one is sort of interesting but not really as much. And then you may have a trifecta in the with the Mackenzie, Jordan, as well as some other sort of forward mid prices as well there. But I will come up with those in due course. You may have a Butters versus Rosie one as well to think about there, and you may have top of the line guys to worry about, even though I won't be selecting them in green and golden, but we may just do one there just to think about what's to delve more into that round zero buyers. It is crucial in the makeup of the side, so we just need to think about that and how it's going to work there. But anyway, that pretty much is the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.